Hi everyone, NZ Tech Freak here again for AndroidNZ.net, and what we've got for you today is our trademark connectivity demo for, of course, Samsung's latest and greatest, the Galaxy S3. Now this video is going to run fairly long because the Galaxy S3 is more packed with connection options than any other device we've ever handled here at the blog, and that includes Android tablets as well, which typically have been a little bit more capable than Android handsets in regard to USB host functionality. So what we're going to run through today is, of course, USB host, and if you've been following me on Twitter, that's at NZ Tech Freak, or reading up at the blog recently, you'll know that USB on the go is greatly enhanced in the Galaxy S3 compared to previously. And then we're going to run through some demonstrations of MHL, of course, since I was fortunate enough to receive the specific MHL adapter that you require for the Galaxy S3. Now that, of course, is a bit of an annoyance for me, but we'll come to that in due course. Okay, so we're going to start things off at the fairly simple end of the spectrum. We're going to connect up my now famous USB on the go cable to the Galaxy S3, and then we're just going to take, if I can find it, yep, this 32 gig flash drive and connect it up. And when I do that, what you'll see is that once the drive's indexed, it's actually going to open it straight up in My Files, which is an improvement over what we've seen previously with the Galaxy S2 and the Galaxy Note. Naturally, you can copy things to and from the cards like this. So here I'm copying a Word document, a draft of the first part of my Galaxy S review up at AndroidNZ.net, and I'm copying it to the internal SD for the Galaxy S3 and opening it from there. And as you can see, I mean, it's working perfectly. And of course, if you want to, you can do the same thing, open files and view them from the card itself. What I'm going to do next is just show you video playing from the card, and we're going to use this anime clip that's encoded in 10-bit or high 10p, which is a relatively new codec that a lot of people are using. So we're going to open this one up with MX Player. And as you can see, that's working perfectly, and that's a pretty neat solution to be able to connect an external drive with a bunch of media loaded to your Galaxy S3 for on-the-go watching. With that in mind, I want to show you something else pretty cool. This 500 gig portable drive is in fact also able to be driven by the Galaxy S3, and that's the first time that we've seen this in a handset. In fact, it's only the second time I've found this, that any Android device is able to do this, the previous device being a Transformer Prime tablet. So it's going to take a little bit longer to index the media for this one. The drive's got a lot more content on it, obviously, given it's much larger. But when that's done, what we're going to see is that it's going to open directly into My Files, just as it did for the 32 gig card. And of course, we're also going to see that video playback works just fine, just to show you that it's all working. And of course, the fun doesn't have to stop there with USB on the go. What I've got here is an externally powered USB hub, and it's actually got 3 different devices connected to it. So you can see the 500 gig drive connected to it, also the 32 gig portable drive, and finally you can see a little Logitech USB wireless dongle in the final port on my external SD. So if we connect that, you'll see that it's detecting it's connected, it's detecting a mouse is connected, and we'll come to that in due course. And you can also see that it's detected the USB storage drives. The 32 gig drive indexes faster, of course, and yeah, there you go, the 500 gig drives appeared. So these are all working together at the same time. No problem at all. This, of course, isn't a particularly portable rig, but you can do things with this that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do with USB on the go, including powering some devices that have too high a power requirement to be met by the Galaxy S3. So just going to come back now to this USB dongle here, and what you'll see is it's actually allowing me to connect to the Galaxy S3 with a Logitech K400 USB wireless keyboard, and so this is the keyboard in question here, of course. And if we use the touchpad there, you can see a mouse appearing on screen, and of course we can use it to select things and navigate through the UI as you'd expect. So it's working perfectly, no problems at all there. If we exit out of that and head back to the home screen, what we'll see is, if we go somewhere, say like the browser, just open that with the touchpad, that we can then navigate to the text entry field and type from the keyboard, which of course is a pretty good thing to be able to do, and will probably come into its own when the all-share cast dongle is available, since you'll still be able to use that to mirror your Galaxy S3 display, even though USB on the go is taking up this port. So as you can see, quite nice browsing with a mouse pointer. And as I just demonstrated, the ice cream sandwich mouse button mapping is still incorrect here in the Galaxy S3, and the right button no longer is mapped to the back key. Instead, it's just another left click. Also wanting to show some of the keyboard functions that work. So escape lets you go back, and the home button also works on this keyboard. And finally, another nice touch, the media controls work, so you can mute and unmute and change the volume up and down using this. So pretty cool all around. And as I say, once we get the all-share cast dongle, this will really come into its own. Actually, of course, this being Android and Z, it would be remiss if we didn't show you this setup that we reported was working with the Galaxy S3. So as reported by SuperCurio, there are actually USB audio drivers present on the Galaxy S3, and it's just a matter of finding out which devices will actually work with it. So what we have here is a FiiO E7, so it's a USB digital analog converter and headphone amp, and you can see it's connected here to our USB on the go adapter, and then from its headphone out port connected here to the Logitech speaker. So we've got the FiiO connected here, and if we start playing, here it's coming over the speaker on the phone. There's our USB on the go cable in, and now coming out of the speaker. Out of the phone. And out of the speaker, so as you can see, working and working well. Now I can appreciate that's going to be a pretty niche use of USB on the go for the needs of most users, but can also assure you that people who really care about audio quality may well value this very highly. And speaking on a personal level, I can say I am actually enjoying using my E7 with the Galaxy S3. I'm still hopeful, I guess, in the fullness of time to abandon the E7 and just use the Galaxy S3 on its own without needing to pair it with an external device. But for that, I'm dependent on and waiting for Voodoo Sound from developer SuperCurio to see what he can bring to the table in terms of audio improvement for the Galaxy S3. Speaking of USB host where things audio are concerned, just wanted to quickly mention that USB MIDI devices are also confirmed to have been working with Samsung devices on Ice Cream Sandwich firmwares. I don't have any MIDI devices, so I can't show you that, but that's elsewhere on YouTube to see. We're going to change tacks a little bit now and show you another feature of USB on the go, and that's connecting this PS3 controller to the Galaxy S3. The really nice thing about PlayStation 3 controllers in the Galaxy S3 is that they're natively supported. So what I'm going to do here is just use the control stick, and what you'll see on screen is a little box appearing over the icons at the bottom, indicating that the PlayStation 3 controller is interacting with the Galaxy S3. So it's natively supported. That's just plug and play. No need to root the phone, no need to install applications from the market to manage the pairing, it just happens automatically. Now, of course, I guess the question is, what would you want to do with a PlayStation 3 controller and a Galaxy S3? And of course the answer is FPse, the PlayStation 1 emulator. And if we open that one up, and we won't load the BIOS, we'll jump into Tekken 3. Next up, we're going to show you connecting an Xbox 360 controller to the Galaxy S3. Now, it's a wired controller, this one, not one of the Bluetooth ones, of course, because we're using USB on the go. And I'd previously actually reported that these weren't working with the Galaxy S3. And I'll show you why. So if we connect that via USB on the go, and then look at the Xbox 360 controller, you can see that we've got a flashing light there, and here's me moving the sticks. Nothing happening. So it's not natively supported. So you can't just plug this one in and play like you can with the Galaxy S3. Fortunately, there's an application, USB-BT controller, that you can just pick up from the Android market for a fairly reasonable price. And if we go into that one, it will actually scan for and find an Xbox controller. And we can then pair it via this app, which has its own IME or sort of keyboard input side to it, so that you can interface with various apps on the phone. Now, I haven't mastered all of the sort of pairings for this yet and the mappings, but can definitely confirm that it does work. So I'm going to jump from here and show you a bit of Nintendo 64 gaming with the Xbox 360 controller. Moving on from there now, I want to show you MHL connectivity with the Galaxy S3, and I was fortunate enough today to receive in the post one of these. This is the specific MHL connector that you'll require for the Galaxy S3. Unfortunately, the ones you may previously have had will not connect, despite this being a connection standard, or supposedly a connection standard. I'm just going to connect it up now. It still requires a power input, and now connecting the HDMI cable. So we're just going to plug it into the S3 now. And there's a few things I just want to make note of that are different here with this connector. First is that the connection itself feels a lot more solid in the phone, I guess because it has 11 rather than 5 pins. Slightly redesigned. When you plug it in, you now get a option to choose stereo or surround sound, and that's new. And also, this is new for Samsung devices, the user interface will rotate into landscape when you're connected via MHL. So that again is new and very welcome. You don't need to install a third-party launcher if this is functionality you want via MHL. Other thing that's also new is you can actually use the camera now while you've got an MHL connection going, and previously you couldn't do that with the Samsung handsets. For myself, I think the applications is fairly limited, but for some people this was a big deal in the past, so I guess that's welcome news for them. For the rest of the demo, I'm going to be controlling my S3 remotely via this Logitech for Android Bluetooth keyboard, and also a Logitech Bluetooth mouse, which I'll give you a peep at in just a minute. Really nice thing about this is being made for Android. It's got shortcut keys that work. For instance, this key here brings up context sensitive menus, so it's the menu button, and there's also a back key that works. So I'm just using the mouse now to navigate through the UI. Just going to go a couple of steps in so I can show you that the back key is working. And there you have it. And one really, really nice thing about this keyboard, it's got a number of hotkeys. You can see some on the screen here, the blue function keys for things like media playback and so forth. I'm just going to show you before we move on to have a look at those that, naturally the home key is working. And there you have it. And now, looking at the specific buttons, you can see things for calendar and browser. Most of those actually don't work, the calendar accepted, but these media controls do actually work, so let's show you that. Naturally, one of the things that someone might want to do with MHL is actually to hook their Galaxy S3 up to an external monitor or HD TV and play some video. Really nice thing about MHL, if you're watching 1080p content, it will actually output to your television at 1080p. So let's show that. One of the other things that becomes much more useful via MHL, of course, is remote desktop connections. So here I'm actually using the Galaxy S3 to link to my desktop computer at home, and I'm in the full-blown Chrome browser on my desktop via the Galaxy S3. And with the Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, of course, this is really quite a natural experience. Unfortunately, there's a fair amount of latency shown here today, and if you've seen some of my previous demos, it's actually worse than usual. So I'm having some connection issues here on the home Wi-Fi today. So you see more latency than you might see on a better connection, but as a proof of concept demo, can show you that it's working. Autofocus seems to be struggling a little bit with the camera here, so bear with that. So we're loading Engadget Mobile. thoroughly average text site. I don't know why I keep using these demos. I don't recommend using it. Go to a quality place like The Verge. And in any case, it's working well. We can use the spacebar to page down and shift space to page up, just as I could on the computer itself. And it's working well. Now, of course, there's a number of other things that one might want to do on a full-blown desktop rather than just browsing, and of course kind of productivity features would be one of the things that someone might want to do. So what we're going to do now is jump into Microsoft Word, and if we bring that up, again you can see a little bit of latency in the transition there. We're going to start typing with the keyboard, and there we have it. So working well. There is a fair amount of latency in the keyboard shown here, and again, as I said, connection issues at home today. Ordinarily it's better than this for me, and if you were somewhere where there wasn't such an asymmetrical upload speed, you'd find that this was very good indeed. Now, one of the things that's quite interesting about Splashtop in comparison to other remote desktop clients for Android is the fact that it can actually also do sound, and actually does sound fairly well. And considering how bad the connection here at home is today, you can see it lagging here on just basic text entry, you'd actually be surprised to hear how well it does sound. So I'm just going to briefly demonstrate that. So we're going to leave Microsoft Word here, having shown you that that works if it's something you want, and we're going to go to the Chrome browser again and open up YouTube in the browser. And just to demonstrate that sound is working, we're going to watch some YouTube videos replete with sound via remote desktop. So let's not exit for starters, and let's jump to Android NZ and catch a link into one of our videos. So I'm just going to be playing around doing this for a minute, and I'm going to shut up and you can just check it out. Pretty cool feature. Hi everyone, NZ Tech Freak here once again for AndroidNZ.net, and firstly an apology. We've been a bit quiet on the blog's YouTube channel for the last couple of months, ever since the Galaxy Note ice cream sandwich walkthrough. A simple and straightforward process that you can follow here on the video, and of course with our really excellent written guide at the blog to root your Galaxy S3. Now the root happens. Just finally wanted to show one more connection option that you have available to you on a Galaxy S3, and again it's one that's best shown via MHL and some retro gaming thrown up on the big screen, and that's to show the fact that Wii remote controllers will work with the Galaxy S3 on stock ROMs with no modifications or root required. All you will need to do is download an app called Wii Remote Controller from the market. It's free, and then you can pair up to your Wii remotes and use them on things like emulators and other games or apps that will let you program keys. I'm actually going to be using a Daytel Retro Wireless Wii Remote here, but basically anything it can pair to regular Wii Remotes will also pair to, and I've also used my own regular Wii Remotes with it and can confirm that they work perfectly. So let's show you that.
Select your player. Let's go. Select map.
And so that's what we wanted to show you today here at AndroidNZ.net, our mega Galaxy S3 connectivity demo. So showing it working with PS3 controllers, Wii remotes, Xbox controllers, MHL, Bluetooth keyboard and mice, USB keyboard and mice, pen drives, USB audio. So just loads and loads of options that this super powerful device has available to it. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Naturally, there's going to be lots more upcoming at the blog, so make sure you head over and check us out, AndroidNZ.net, and that's NZ Tech Freak, over and out.